I didn't even know what yeah. The word meta, I feel like it's like the Super Saiyan version of cyberpunk,
It
like a metapunk.
is. Oh, it is, and it's like, and it just like it's like the perfect explanation of like what, like it has the word meta in it, but like the
Like I'm trying,
metaverse.
like it's just trying to keep it simple as possible. It's like how art is just so complex. You just the thing is just to fight to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, exactly, and it's. Funny enough, I was. They just
No,
they.
enough for the general public to understand.
Mhm. Oh no, I agree. It's like I was talking to somebody about. Um, so the logo that you see right now is not the
Uh-huh.
same one that Metakey started with.
Ah, okay.
And I, what is it? I like the moment they updated their logo, I had messaged their team, and I was like, that logo is smart as shit because it's like it's so simple. It's like the same thing. It's like you look at it, you're like, oh, key, meta key, and then the name just meta key. Um, it's like, and it sticks too, which is nice. But I realized, so I haven't given an introduction, or I haven't tweeted any. I haven't not tweeted it, but I haven't told everybody that the talk has started. So the
No,
talk.
it's fine, man. It's kind of like it's okay to get pre-recording or before everyone gets in.
Oh,
Just
exactly.
make sure that things are okay.
That's what. That's like I'm giving it like 5 more minutes, just like get more talking, and then we'll just like flow into it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Um.
cool.
So, well, it's summertime in Chicago right now. What's summer like in Chicago? I actually have no idea.
Actually, I'm actually in Indiana right now. I go back and forth,
Oh,
so I'm right now in
in
Indiana.
what's
Oh, it's still the same.
still the same weather?
Oh, Smalls just came in. Oh shit.
Yeah, no
What's up,
people.
dude? Does he have his mic on?
I don't think
Yeah, it's 73 degrees in Indianapolis right now. So
73 degree. Hold on, I need to get my converter on. Um, yeah,
no, but
Celsius.
yeah, we're looking at peak June,
Peak
peak
June.
summertime right now.
Oh, nice. It,
Yeah, it's very very hot. No, not nice. So hot. Even me as a Nigerian, sometimes
I I've
it can be
noticed
too
that too. It's like we like in Egypt, like I can handle the heat. Here, the heat is so weird sometimes that it's just like, oh my god.
weird.
It's like it take me back. Sometimes I actually be like, okay, give me the dry heat. I'll take it over the humidity. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but back to your Discord server logo. I like the fact that it has motion. I haven't added motion on mine yet.
I actually don't even know how they did that. It's like the coolest fucking thing on the planet. I was like, I was
When did you even get in here? I just
I
got in here like 3 days ago.
so I got into I essentially so I have Maddie from Decentraland on notifications,
Mm.
and he literally tweeted out, "Hey guys, I'm launching this project," and I just like jumped in the Discord the moment that link went live,
Nice. Ah, you jumped. Yeah, well, that's a good idea.
and it
No, not a lot of people have caught on to Discord yet.
yeah no,
They're all still on Facebook. Like Facebook is just sick. You got your parents and you got your high school classmates all in under one room. Like, nah, fuck that.
and it's like what is it like so many sales and like so many connections, like even like future job opportunities happen through Discord in such a weird way that it's like it doesn't even happen on Twitter now. Like it's like the before
Yeah,
you
Twitter is too much noise to get anything done, really.
uh,
Like,
I, I actually wanted to ask you, like, how do you not, like, you don't tweet as much as the normal person on Twitter, obviously,
no.
and it's like
Uh,
how do you stop the how do you stop the urge of just like not just like putting like your stuff out there, because it's like I wake up every day and I'm like, oh my god, like this is the flood of content, and then I try to
yeah.
add my stuff in there, but
Um, it's part of it's part of my just my routine of how it's just unplugging from online and doing stuff offline. It's part of why I paint physically is just to get off the computer for a while, you know.
It's I do the same. That's one of my favorite things is I was actually talking to somebody. I told them I like drawing my studies more than actually finishing my artistic projects,
Hmm.
just because it's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
break time.
But yeah, back to Twitter. All I do is just look at what people are talking about. You know, just go get on hashtag like hashtag NFT, hashtag crypto art. You know, hashtags are very important.
That yeah, it's that's actually I it's that's one of the things I've noticed. Like up until your account reaches a certain followership, hashtags are the key to getting your account seen. Otherwise, you'll just
Yeah.
be dead in the water.
Yeah. Um, and it goes for anything too, not just for crypto art, really. Like people complain about being lonely sometimes. You could just, you know, get on Instagram if whatever thing you follow, it could be puppies or um, I don't know, GI Joe action figures. You know, hashtag GI Joe and you know, hashtag Barbie, and you'll find other people who like other things that you like. You know, and
That,
the next step is just to interact with them. You know, in some form or fashion.
that's very true. It's one of my favorite things is like how that can also happen just in like have you been on Decentraland and Crypto Voxels and all these?
I've been in I've walked around crypto voxels, not Decentraland, but I've spoken to, you know, some people in the community in Decentraland. But
It,
I've been in the like the meta universe of I've walked crypto uh
it's and it, like to me it's like such a fascinating thing because it's like it's
crypto voxels.
yeah, Crypto Voxel. It's because you can be walking right and like just go into
Yeah.
like the most random gallery, and
Hmm.
then have a very human conversation, like very similar as if like you know like this dude comes up to you next to in a museum and says that's a nice photograph, and you just start
Yeah.
talking about it, and it's like
Yeah.
it's actually insane too because like I was walking through Crypto Voxels a few times, right?
Hmm.
You mentioned that you physically paint, and
Yeah.
I do as well, right? So like one of my biggest things is like, you know, everybody's like digital work now, you know, painters stick to paint or whatever. You see Beanie says that a lot on Twitter, but you know,
Yeah.
what does he know?
Or
Um,
the classic moving like moving videos
mhm.
is the hype thing right now.
Yeah, and or like those like style GAN animations of your
Hmm.
of like paintings, like moving paintings too. That's
Yeah, paintings that have already been painted before.
yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
it's like I sort of understand where some of it's coming from because like a lot like some of these works are in like the public domain, right? You we're allowed to use them, but
Yeah,
some stuff is like you look at it and you're like, you're not changing too much to like
yeah,
give it your own like artistic I don't know, flavor?
like perspective. Yeah,
Exactly, like that perspective too, like or like your own artistic touch, and then like to me like something like physical paint is that sort of physical touch, right? Or that's part of
not
it.
just well, I mean, not just touch, but you know, smell. You could smell like if you open a box, like you know, I have this canvas,
Mm.
and I put it in a box. If I ship it to somebody, you know, they open the box, you know, they get to smell that old smell. I mean, not the old, like you know,
The oil, like the oil paint or what the
not
paint
just
smell.
not just that, but wherever you painted the canvas, you know,
That's true.
they
Yeah,
get to smell that in the inside. If they get to sniff the inside of the box, you know, it's almost like opening up a brand new toy. You know, you get to smell all these different. You know, that counts for something.
yeah, and it's like also like what people use, like the source and the materials that people use in the physical
Oh, for
works.
sure. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the historical value and like the themes behind it are insane. I was like, it's because like people will often say like, how are you going to translate the physical into the digital, right?
right.
And we're both like traditional painters that explore, you know, like we're exploring new mediums, or at least I don't know if you classify yourself as a traditional painter, but like I do classify myself.
Yes, the funny thing. I started off as a photographer, as a digital photographer.
Mm.
So I didn't even start. I wasn't even painting. I didn't
No,
even.
when did you
I
start
literally
painting?
Said what?
When did you start painting?
Around 2017
Oh
was when I
wow.
really started painting. Yeah, before that was digital photos. Like I was a digital camera guy.
Wow.
Well, you can see how that intersects with the QR codes, right?
Oh,
Like seeing
it's
how their photos are
oh
still digital photos, but you could still print them out in physical format.
man,
So they still
you
have this physical aspect to it, but it's still attached to the digital world, you know?
you actually sent me down a rabbit hole yesterday, just because of your QR codes. I was I so for the listeners who don't know, Red Scanner has a QR code. Like he has an NFT on his Rarible website that's called Donut Receipts. And if
Yeah.
you scan it, it takes you to an NFT that he owned. And
Yes.
the moment I did that, it blew my fucking mind. It blew because like I was like, wait a minute, like how, right? Because it's like I was only familiar with like the concept of static QR codes, right? Codes that just you link them, print them, that's it. But then I was like, okay, you had to like link this first, create it, print it,
And
color
you
it,
had to like generate it yourself, like
yeah,
write it yourself,
and then
writing the
like
code.
how do you even do that? Like I tried to find YouTube videos yesterday. I was like, oh my god, this is impossible. Like everything
Well,
I
there's certain techniques. It took a while. It wasn't an overnight thing, but it got easier and easier for me, you know.
and it's like people like I really recommend people check out your work because like the way you fuck with QR codes like in the physical way too, right? Because like um, through my exploration yesterday I like found a few websites that were like, here, color your QR code, and I was like, let's see if this is gonna work. And like I found
Yeah.
that certain colors don't work, certain patterns don't, even like the phone won't detect them. And so
It's like a language. It's
mhm.
like you can't like pronouncing, letters that don't go together, like G and B, in the English dialect.
That's actually very. Now you when you put it like that, that's the perfect way to explain it. Actually,
Yeah. Like this, there's just something. It's like coding. There's a language. Any kind of language is a code.
and man, it's actually insane because like some of this stuff like it can stand alone as like an artwork of a QR code, right? And it's like I can stare at it, and personally, I do not need it to function as a QR code, right?
Yeah.
But it still functions as the QR
Sure.
code.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's wild. And then like for somebody like walking through crypto voxels, like they literally like if they come across a work like this, right? It's already physical. It's you've added material to it, the ink, the coloring, the
Hmm.
paper, right? If we're
Yeah.
going, if somebody wants to go like thematically as hard as they can, they'll source their paper from a specific place. They'll source their ink from a specific place that's relevant to the work, right? But
Yeah.
then you have something that bridges the digital completely. Like it's you've created the cross bridge essentially of like, yeah,
But
it's
this is the thing about crypto voxels. I have seen QR codes in crypto voxels, but they don't use it in an artistic form. They use it in almost like just strictly utility. You know?
well,
Like,
actually, let me ask you about this because I was in my rabbit hole journeys yesterday. I was like, how are you able to use QR for like QRs in such an artistic way? Like, how did you actually get to like some of the QR codes that you've made? Because I even I can't think of like how you got there.
um, well, it really depends on what you want to link your code to. Like,
Hmm.
if it's videos or if it's a website, an easy copy and pasting the link and going to www. There are QR code generators out online.
Hmm.
You could just copy and paste, but there are times where you could on those websites you could just type in text, your own personal text, just like you're typing on Discord. You type in "Hey, hello." It'll form a QR code. No one would know what it says
Hmm.
on a physical level unless you scanned it through a smartphone.
That's and then well, how do you
And
fully start?
it could also be in any language too. It's not just English.
I actually didn't even think of that either.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
Whoa.
could be
Yeah.
Chinese. So this QR code language is really an open source language for everybody. So in a sense, everyone could be a coder if they just did what I did. A coder in a sense.
Well, I mean,
Everyone could.
like I mean, like if somebody even then, like you can just like if somebody built a node-based QR coding program, you're there. You just created the language, sort of. But
Yeah.
wow. Oh, I even think of the. Do you know if you can have multiple languages in the same QR code? Like interact.
Um. Yes. Yeah. You can. Um.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
I might. I. That's the thing. I could. Um. Send. That's the thing. I don't really upload all my work online, but I could give examples of different languages saying hello in different languages, and it'll print out as a QR code.
wow. That's and the best thing is a QR code is both physical and like wow. That's
And the digital world, the NFT, community thinks that a print is dead, like painting is dead, and a print will never go out of style.
oh no. Actually I have a feeling prints are about to go. Give it 5 years and the human factor is gonna be far more important than anybody realizes in the space because
You know what
it's
else prints? You know what else prints matter that are physical and both digital?
what
Your fingerprints.
oh oh sh
No, if you could if you know how Samsung, or I think it's just Samsung or Android that's doing this, you could unlock your phone with your fingerprint.
yeah, just unlock
They have
what
your fingerprint digitally.
what
Oh, it's another form of print that people are overlooking that is really important in both the physical and digital world.
I I actually I mean well I'm at a loss of words
No, but
right
it's
now.
it's a lot to take in. I know.
I told you I was excited to talk to you. I didn't. I Oh my god! I didn't expect you to blow my fucking mind like this.
Like
Shit.
fingerprints, how fingerprints are so personal because they're your fingerprints and nobody else's.
Exactly, and it's like, I mean, like,
There's a copy of your fingerprint somewhere or your footprint.
I'm and like, I mean, Canada already. That is very true. Canada does like the Canadian government has my fingerprints. The Egyptian government has my fingerprints. Right? We
I
get.
even I think USA has my my baby footprints
Yeah,
somewhere in New York.
I think we actually yeah they get babies' footprints too, like baby on the birth
Yeah,
cert.
I think my mom has a copy of it.
Just like in mom's little folder.
Yeah, there's certain stuff that I can't take from her. One of that is that.
Of course. That's never going away from mom's hands.
Yeah.
But I mean, like even then, like just like the concept of fingerprint, like it already has like huge political ramifications, and not just artistic ones. Because you can,
Yeah, it's broader than that.
it's wow, what the Red? What are you, bro? What are you doing? Not talking to people more in the space. This is this is actually like I mean, like as a person,
Yeah, it's making art make sense. There's some form of people get it.
and it's like it's also like the evolution of just like the artistic process, right? Because it's like, I mean,
Oh,
art.
well, where I was going is the evolution. Where I was going
Mm,
with it at first is like the upgrade of digital photographs. The upgrade of this is how I started. So I was in college, studying digital photography, and digital photography is on a corporate level, on an academic level, it's saturated. Once you graduate, it's pretty hard to make a full living being a digital photographer.
I agree. That is one hundred
So,
percent true.
so because of the smartphones that are out,
Mm,
people could just go to weddings, take a smartphone out, pull out their smartphone. They don't really need to hire a digital photographer anymore. So I thought of it. So I thought of it like, so how do I do this? If you can't beat them, join them type of thing. Like, use the smartphones to my advantage as opposed to my disadvantage in the digital art world. And that's I can't. That's what I thought of with QR codes. Was
Well,
because smartphones and QR codes work together.
well, actually, let me focus a little bit on the if you can't beat them, join them thing,
Yeah,
because I
make it
recently
make it part of you.
like I started thinking the same way in a sense where um, so I found an application that allows you to display your NFTs in AR just through like
Right.
Google's AR lens whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so my biggest thing is like in a conversation with a university professor, at least the conversations I had, and I used to pull my professors for hours, like during class, just like talk, and that upset a lot of people, but I didn't care because I just liked talking to my professors, and a
Yeah.
lot of them would be like,
Uh-huh.
"Yeah, man, the galleries don't function that way anymore." Yeah, like some professors would be like hidden deals, like would allude to hidden deals or like connection based stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking of, okay, well, the fine art world is already sort of dividing itself from like the digital art space. They're already.
Not just that, but I
Mhm.
feel like contemporary art, like the art that's in the galleries, the old banana and the duct tape
Yeah.
stick,
Oh
like
yeah.
that. Like, people look at it and they laugh and they don't take it seriously, man.
Yeah, it's like I think some of that work has now like turned into baiting people into that reaction because then it just gets more attention, right? Like
Yeah.
it's part of the thing that I've noticed is just like bait tactics can be employed in the artistic medium as well, right? Just like if you piss enough people off, they'll enough people will then pay attention. So,
Okay,
but
like I know the not to roast the banana and the duct tape because the guy who made it is a troller. He trolls
oh
as
yeah,
his art form. So, you know,
it's like oh no,
so
like I
still,
mean,
the average Joe is gonna look at that and they're gonna say what, and they're gonna be more excluded from the the art world.
well, I mean, I personally have no problems like calling it a non like well like it's just a not good, a not up to quality piece of work conceptually, right? Like it's like personally like when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, this is just going too far for the sake of pushing edges, but it's like it's whatever, they duct taped a banana, but
I
it's
guess it's
like
comical. I did laugh. I did
right.
laugh when I saw it. So
But like the thing that interested me in that, like actually the only thing that interested me in that is I after that I went to my studio, my university studio, and started like smashing at this frame, like a canvas frame because I was just so fucking bored and pissed off.
mhm.
And then my prof came in, and then I told him like, hey, I also had a coat hanger in my studio, and so I just
Yeah.
grabbed the frame, put it on the coat hanger, and I told him like, how do you feel if I put that up in my gallery, like in my graduation show?
Oh, wait! I've heard this story. That you were part of this story.
Wait, how'd you
The
hear this
the
story?
the punching wall.
No,
That
no, it's like it didn't
you know you
happen.
know you know the one I'm talking about, right?
No, what is that?
Somebody punched a wall and framed it, and it's an NFT.
Oh no, that's I art sometimes over on Twitter.
Ah, yes, yes.
uh,
So,
I
which
I
one are you talking about?
no, so no, it's my own personal experience. It didn't happen
Okay.
because COVID canceled our graduation show, but it was essentially like I because I was so mad at a piece of a banana duct tape selling for 150 fucking thousand US dollars, right? Like
Yeah, it enraged you that much?
yeah, it's like it actually pissed me off, like because it's like I was an international student at the time, so paying international fees and then art supplies, your paintings,
Right. Yeah.
your oils, your canvas, your wood,
So it's
right?
a sacrifice.
Right? It's an extreme sacrifice, and then comes along this like $2 Dollarama duct tape and a $1 banana from your store, and then sells for 4 years of my
That's the funny part. It wasn't even. It's not really the banana and the duct tape. It's the contract,
ex-
which is funny because we're talking about. It's the contract. I can't remember how it really went, but the real piece was the contract. Um,
Yeah, it was, and people assumed that that piece got ruined because another artist ate the banana. They didn't know that
yeah, yeah,
two
right,
more
yeah, I
got
know.
two more were sold, before it was even displayed to the public.
Yeah,
Right?
that's speaking of contract. Guess what that would have been on Ethereum. Even though
Oh, exactly.
Ethereum, that could have easily been an NFT.
It's right, and
Really.
it's like it could have been, it could have been like an NFT that's just. I mean, like my biggest thing in NFTs now is like the artist could have just not used Christie's or any of these places,
Of course,
and
yeah.
saved himself like a 50% cut in payment, and he would have known who bought his work. Because like for the listeners, like some galleries will not put the artist in contact with their buyers for simply just to keep the
Right.
exclusivity of their
Yeah.
gallery and their clientele to them. And then
It's
what
hard
you
to do it because of the internet now. It's
yeah,
not gonna work as
e-
much as it did back in the day.
exactly. And that's why I'm excited for places like OpenSea, because they essentially eliminate the need for a place like a gallery to act as the middleman. And it
Yeah.
also, because like also people don't realize that it's like when you're not in contact with the buyer, you have no idea of what the market price is. The gallery can give discounts as much as they like, right?
Right.
If you think your work is only valuable at $1,000, but the gallery has sold your work for like multiple that, but doesn't let you know like the full market price, and they take half the deal anyway. So
Yeah,
you only
they have to cut. Yeah.
right, and
Just a
so,
mess.
um, but it's like with a place like OpenSea, it just like it brings like the power back to somebody like the artist. And then funny
Mm.
enough, to tie it to the fingerprint thing is people will often look for ways to like authenticate works, right? We have the blockchain and the code and the Etherscan transaction date and history to verify the creation of the NFT, right?
Yeah.
But now that you mentioned the use of fingerprints in some form of way as an NFT or as in crypto, if somebody connects their fingerprint to the NFT they make, then you can just verify the NFT itself through the fingerprint, right? It's done.
Oh, yeah.
And then like man, that's actually wild to like say that out
Right.
loud. That's fucking wild.
But this is the thing. I'm just an artist. I'm not a guy who, I'm not a techie guy at all. As hard as that sounds, I'm not really, someone who, goes into a computer and codes these
Mhm.
things. It's too much of a hassle for me. I like to have fun.
Man, but it's like, I mean, like the time is now where it's like, coders need people to come up with the ideas for them to code, right? And it's like
Hmm.
that's like, I mean, well, here actually, I'll tie like I wanted to talk to you about one of the most important pieces, like the pieces that I really love, is it's I think it's the second or the third piece in your Macintosh works. Um,
Yeah. The which one? The
it's
the
the
four boxes or the VHS?
So
Which
it's
one?
no, it's the inspiration Tom Clancy one. So I've linked
Oh,
it
okay.
in the live stream questions. For the people who are curious, I think it's I the first time I read it, my brain I was like, no way did Tom Clancy actually write this.
Yeah.
This is like the disassociation between his daughter and a computer is so weird, and so like it's like capitalist, but it's almost like borderline propaganda that it's like
Yeah, Tom Clancy has this propaganda-esque thing going on. He has a yeah.
and it, and it,
I go on. Go ahead.
well, it's like I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, like number one, like how is this even allowed to be out there, right? And then number two is like essentially, like the way I'm trying to put this into words, like for something like this to be out there, right? It needs to, it informs you about the thought process of the person or the company you're dealing with, right? And
Yeah.
then to essentially see you like turn the photo, like take it into extremely like physical term, like just a pure highlighter, right? Just highlight keywords, um,
Right.
just cut and glue stuff, right? And then
Yeah.
essentially bring to light like how messed up what we're actually reading is, right? And then it's like
Yeah.
and then I haven't gone through the process of trying to scan the QR code on top. Um, so
Let me see what it says. I actually have it right next to me.
you have the piece right next to you.
Yeah. I'll scan it right now to
Well,
see what it. Because there are times I do a lot of QR codes that I often forget what I
what
put.
you
So even me, I'll go back and what did I write?
it's
I felt I there's lots of army helmets like emojis.
uh-huh.
I just scanned it. There's lots of emojis, lots of tombstones, lots of skulls. And then it says destruction inspires creation.
Hmm. I mean, do you think you could share the link in the live stream questions for the people who are listening if
Hold
they're
on,
curious?
let me take a photo. I think I could take a photo of the QR code and just post it.
Please. because because like my favorite thing about the work is when you apply it to to under, is it black light? I believe that's the light you're
Yeah,
using.
it's black light and I used glow in the dark strips
Glow in
also.
glow in the dark strips. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
like glow in the dark strips. I cut some paper out. Glow in the dark paper.
okay. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And
Yeah,
I
and I did a little collage. It's almost like cut out some paper and stick it to some other paper, like collage.
yeah, and it well like I think actually like now that like the fact it's so for the people listening, that I think there's like a few things at play happening in the work that are actually pretty important, right? And it's like you're inherently sort of addressing this technological Goliath, right? Known as Apple, right? And through their like weird propaganda message of inspiration about Macintosh, right? But
Yeah.
it's done entirely using physical, non-technological, well, sort of technological if you count the glow in the light paper, right? And the
Yeah.
printing on the paper, but you're using physical materials and a physical medium to comment on the technology, right?
Yes.
And then on top of that, there is the extra addition of the QR code that then bridges both, that will bring the reader from.
Yes, exactly. Like connects them both.
Like
And
so
I think I just uploaded it. I'm pretty sure. Let me see myself
it's
if I could
there.
scan.
So
Oh, it's emojis.
is it on
Yeah.
paper, like just normal paper?
Yeah,
This is
it's
just
on
for the artist.
print it's on printed label.
Okay.
The
And
code might not work. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the code works. I might delete it if make another one.
uh, uh,
I
I'll
think
try
it
to.
just was a number.
Well,
I'll print it out again.
okay. Um. So
Works.
I actually wanted to ask you, like, where do you plan to take this? Like the next. Well, I actually don't know if you've worked on it because you say that there's a lot of work that you don't post online. So have you
Um.
further
Well,
worked on this?
Well, this is the thing. I told you I was going for the long game, right?
Mm.
Like, this is what I mean. The term hodling,
Mm.
like, I'm using the term hodling to, hodl my own artwork right now,
I see.
and it's like, I plan on taking at least most of my work and just traveling and telling people about it. Just my excuse to travel the world, also.
It's a good excuse to have.
Yeah, and I might get it, travel for free. Who knows?
That's actually. I mean, and it's also like it adds a nice theme to the work of just like spreading the word of. Um, I mean, like if I tie it to like your whole like sort of internet identity of like cyberpunk, meta punks and all that,
Yeah,
it's like, like sort of Johnny Silverhand spreading the word of art. I don't know. That's a
for
little.
sure, for sure.
Well,
Let me see if it works. I think I uploaded. I'm uploading it again. See if it works.
um, is it working?
Let me see.
Um, so while that happens, I actually wanted. Well, I wanted.
Nah.
I was really curious about the QR code thing. I wanted to say like you said that you coded your own thing,
Yeah.
and and then do you have plans to like, well, not code more stuff. I know you plan to code more stuff, but like to fully like bridge that more into other work as it evolves.
Yeah. But that's in the
You're
hush
not.
hush.
Oh, okay.
Plan to. Well, okay. So plan to just down the line,
Mm.
maybe abandon my vocal language, the public eye, and my QR code become a language. My first language,
As in, like your only means of communication would
the physical world.
in the physical world would become QR code.
Yes.
That's actually that's actually very interesting. That's actually, I mean, I'm really interested into it.
I'm leaving a lots of stuff out, but that's just the simplicity of what I'm doing.
Like, well, I'm person like that to me. Like that piques my interest because um, there's like this weird game factor in it, right? Where it's like I'm communicating through like hidden
It's
channels.
almost like being quiet, but you want people if people want to listen, they'll really get it and listen.
Exactly, and it's like it's also like part of like those who want to find you, like they actually have to put the work in to find you, which is like it's a nice thing to
Yeah,
have.
or spend or spend some time in whatever community one is in, and eventually you'll bump into other people that share the same common interests.
Exactly, it's man, wow, right, dude, your brain is wild. Like actually, is I didn't,
Now,
dude. No, I did not expect this conversation to head where it went, man. Like wow, it's like, and then, because I'm trying to tie like, okay, if people start talking through QR codes, right? If it
oh,
like just
we
we're
already are.
right, okay, yeah, you
We're
are true,
already doing it.
and then you introduce the the fingerprint NFT mechanism into that,
Yes. Like,
and then.
as far as the third world, I feel like everyone, like, not the third world, the first world, like Western society, as
Mm,
long as you have a smartphone, you know how to code. You're a coder. You know how to read code, at least a specific code language.
okay.
Know a code
Well,
language without even realizing that you know a code language.
okay, I see what you mean. How do you think that will translate to like places in the third world, like Egypt or like Nigeria, or Mexico, all those places? Like,
Well, places like that already do have smartphones.
mhm.
Like they leapfrogged technologies. Like, that's the thing about the East is leapfrogging. The as far as like the laptops, Africa really didn't have that the laptop thing going, but leapfrogged to the smartphone.
Could you explain? Sorry, I don't. Leapfrogging, I'm guessing, is just like skipping like a little bit and just like arriving
Yeah,
at technology.
skipping a generation, as a whole generation of technology, or like the desktop, the big
Okay,
desktop in the 90s.
okay. What
You would see some in specific important places, but they weren't in the average
home
average
and
home.
okay,
No.
okay, and
Yeah.
well, I like the our well, I so for those who just joined, Cyber is Nigerian. Um, I actually well, are you born? Were you born in Nigeria and then immigrated to the U.S. or U.S. and then just born in the U.S.?
Yeah, I was born in the USA.
Okay.
I was. Go ahead.
Have you been to Nigeria?
Yes, I spent a good amount of my childhood in Nigeria.
Oh, nice. Well,
Then after I think the Twin Towers fell,
mm.
2 months after 9/11, I went back to the U.S.
Hey, that's a good move. That's a good move.
I really did not want to go back. After those towers fell, and me being from New York, I was like, not
Oh,
sure I want to come back.
oh. Okay. No, that's a different.
Yeah,
That's a,
it's me looking at what was happening on the news and going, do I really want to go back to the USA?
it's I
You know,
remember.
I was a kid, so I really didn't have a choice but to come back.
I remember like as a kid when that thing happened, I didn't even understand what the hell was going on, and my first thing I went to mom was like, so like are we not going like are we gonna be allowed to go to America now? And then she was just like, how nobody's allowed to go anywhere now. Like I was like, okay, cool, and then fast forward
Did
18
you did
years.
you leave Egypt? Did you leave Egypt around the same time?
Oh no, I left Egypt 2016. So
Okay,
there
I see.
was I used to make the joke that Trump would never let me in, but
Oh,
that was just a joke that I just made to because people are like, hey, you try to go to the States, and I just like didn't want to bother through going through the visa, and it's like it's all a hassle. Just like traveling places can be like a real hassle at
oh my
times.
God! I
Like
went back to New York like 3 years ago, and just riding the subway. Oh, you never know what you're gonna find just riding those subways.
have you been to Montreal?
Oh, I've never even set foot in Canada
Oh
before.
man, so I equate Montreal to New York a lot, but that's
Yeah.
because I've never set foot into New York, so we're talking from two opposite sides. But I know what you mean about the subway thing because you never know what you're gonna expect in Montreal
Yeah, lots of
subways.
performances that could go
Wild.
mostly wrong all the time.
It's my first time seeing somebody smoke meth was in the subway. That was wild. I was like,
Oh, you
damn,
serious?
COVID times too. Everybody's got their mask on, and I was like, oh, nice. Uh, well, so, well, I, to bring it back to Nigeria, I was actually since you grew up there,
Hmm?
how do you think the technology is gonna evolve in a place like Nigeria compared to like Chicago or like even America in general? Because
Well, let me tell you this.
oh,
You could get on Google. I think it's called Google Analytics or something.
I'm
Or
on
you
it.
could search Google Trends. Google
Google
Trends.
Trends.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
just type in Bitcoin, and it'll show you Nigeria being number one in the um it's Nigeria being number one in typing what Bitcoin is, like being the most
Wow,
interested in
you're act.
Bitcoin.
Wow, what, dude?
I think under is Switzerland and some other country,
You're actually
some other country in the Eastern European.
they. So it's Switzerland has moved to the fourth country, but Nigeria is sitting at like 100, and then the country right under it is Austria, sitting at 76.
Yeah.
So
So I mean that's just now. We're not counting China because when it comes to Google and China, they kind of bump heads. So
mm,
we don't have China on the map. We don't have China data.
that's I got
China would be up there, but you take away China, and Nigeria's there, number one.
man. That that's actually well. How do you feel about Well, how did you feel about Nigeria trying to ban Bitcoin? Because I think they didn't they walk it back, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the space for a while, and just seeing band news and FUD news, I'm used to it. I'm used
Okay.
to it now.
Well,
Any country bans it, I don't listen anymore.
I started doing the same after China decided to ban it for like the third time. I was like, okay.
Yeah, China banned it for like yeah.
I was like,
This
okay,
is
cool.
ridiculous.
It's like the manipulation is just hilarious that happens,
And
and
it's
it's
just
like
for rich people to get in, and rich people that missed the opportunity last time to get in.
exactly, and it's like also people don't realize like the treasure trove of just artistic sources and artistic material that we're just getting as artists for future works, right? So
Yeah.
like le- like legitimately, I don't think people understand like some of the news that's coming out now, right? Like China banning Bitcoin again, right? The hash rate
Hmm.
drops by however, like Bitcoin hitting 80K. Like for if you don't know, in Canada, Bitcoin hit I think 80K before dropping to 40K. So it's
Yeah,
like
'cause you guys have a different,
the value is different.
yeah.
Uh, but it's like, right? So it's like to see all of that happen, and then people be like, yeah, okay, cool, next thing. Like, I don't think people realize that it's like some of us are paying attention to the news that's coming out, and like you said, it's like you're sitting on your work, right? You're not,
Yeah.
you're hodling your work, right?
Yeah.
People,
While
people.
while other people are selling now, like,
Oh man, like,
uh,
well,
well,
so
sell if you want to sell, but hodling is. I figure that I would live to at least 55. No,
oh man, you got to give yourself
55 is
more
a
than
little
that.
bit easy. Of course, but being 55, and where would you be? You want to
That's
live like you want to live a good life around that time.
that's actually, yeah, 55, just retired surfing or doing the
Yeah,
McAfee
I think
life.
people aren't valuing the work enough to hold on to it for a while.
They actually that's actually a really good point because so yesterday I'm trying to bring in some people like some of my friends from university into the NFT space, and
Yeah.
a friend of mine was like, "I'm selling these paintings. Please DM me." And then so I DM'd him. I was like, "Man, I really want these too. Can I have the physical as well as can you mint them as NFTs?" And he
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, sure, 100%." And then I was sitting there, and then he was like, it's his first time, so he put them on sale by accident, and I got really bad FOMO. I freaked out. I was like, oh god, oh god. And so I was like, what if it gets bought today? I didn't buy it because like I know it's not gonna get bought today, but
Yeah. You never
I
know.
well exactly. Please don't remind me. I have 2 more days. I'm holding on 2 more days until I can actually buy it. But I was sitting there and it's like I went through my Rarible because I have a Lux card collectible number one,
Yeah.
and I've had a bit of 2.5 ETH for like 6 months. Like ever since I won that card, that bid got placed and it was just sitting there. So I was like, I
Ah.
I tried to accept it, right? It didn't fucking work. So I was like, okay, cool. I get to keep my Lux card and then I'll buy this. But it was funny to see like all these people in the space sell their artwork for collectibles, right? For like
Ethereum. Ethereum.
and Ethereum, and then here I am essentially giving like doing the opposite. I'm giving away the one thing like a Lux collectible number one, right? Which is like
Hmm?
is supposed to go for like a big value in the future because I wanted to trade it for like two paintings,
Right.
right? And it's like I think people like slowly are gonna start, hopefully, hopefully in the
You
like
know,
this.
it's like the guy who sold his 20,000 bitcoins for two pizzas.
Oh yeah,
The same thing
pizza.
is happening here, but no one's realizing it right now.
That's true. Well, I mean, like, I wouldn't you say it's also sort of like necessary for that to happen? Like, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I did have that conversation with myself. It was, yes, that he did have to take an L.
yeah,
He had
I
to take
sat there. I
that
was
L.
like, yeah, like
I
somebody
know
has to
he
take
got
an.
excited. Huh? Go ahead.
No, sorry. No, it's like you said. It's like yeah, somebody had to take the L on that.
Sadly, yes, sadly.
It's like, man, it's like, but like I like also like that's the thing, right? I mean, if somebody could, if the dude comes back into crypto, right? And I mean, like, I'd commend him if he ever comes back into crypto after
because
such.
he's forever that guy, and
Yeah,
there's Bitcoin Pizza Day, you
and
know.
it's like,
So he's made
imagine.
history, you know.
Yeah, exact. Right. It's like, or like, imagine like him selling like the transaction as the NFT, like the history of the
Yeah.
transaction as an NFT. Like you get to own an image of the fucking 10,000, 20,000 bitcoins for pizza.
Yeah.
Like that's
That
history.
doesn't last though. It's just the story behind it, you know.
Sorry.
Story that happened in the real world, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well,
People are going to remember that. People
yeah.
aren't going to remember how much, and maybe, they don't have to remember because, it's already there on the computer.
The
The
sorry. What do you
price,
mean?
like
Ah,
the
okay.
NFT.
I see. Yeah. No, that's true. It's like it's. I mean, like, well, I'm trying to
Bitcoin.
phrase it. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, that influenced some artwork. I had made some pizza, Bitcoin pizza artwork. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the Trinity or something. But
Is it
it's
on?
just pizzas, and that was influenced by Bitcoin Pizza Day.
So funny enough, I didn't actually like. I know about the Bitcoin story, like the pizza story. I didn't know Bitcoin Pizza Day was a thing until
Oh yeah, Bitcoin Pizza Day is a thing.
like how long has it been a thing for?
Since
Since the
I think after a year the guy took the L to
damn, this man is
Bitcoin.
being
Like you can type
reminded.
in if you go on Google and type in Bitcoin Pizza Day. I can't remember what day it is, but it's a thing.
Bitcoin Pizza Day. You think we'll ever have like uh, an NFT pizza? Well, I don't know NFT Pizza Day, but like an NFT day where like we commemorate somebody. Well, I think that already
Maybe
happened
maybe
actually.
maybe like Beeple or something when he was on his couch.
Did
Maybe an
you
event like that could be played
so,
all over again. Like here.
so have you seen the picture of Beeple shitting himself after partying with fucking like nifty getaways drop or some shit?
Yes, yes, that's the clip I was talking about.
It's like man, that was it's like that's
Like
also
it's a moment captured in time.
it's
It's a
and it's
moment
such
that
a
made
perfect moment to capture too. Just like this man, biggest sale in the NFT world, shit
yeah.
stain on his underwear. It's like I actually saved it just so I can like try to paint it. Like so I noticed like you scour through like old technology like magazines for
Mhm.
sources and like artistic material. I do the same thing with memes, and some of the stuff that comes out of NFT Twitter is just hilarious. Like you see the picture of crypto finally sitting on Charles's laps, Cardano's Charles.
What's crypto finally again? I can't remember.
So crypto finally is like, well, I don't know how to describe crypto finally other than the girl who's
Oh, wait. Yes, I know who she was. I know who she is. Yes, I know.
it's
Okay, go ahead.
it's I, like there's a picture of her. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like I don't know what convention they went to, but she's like sitting on his lap, right? And
Mhm.
like Charles is like trying. Here, I'll try to find it actually, because you're
Speaking of that, because I'm subbed to her. I'm subscribed on YouTube because she makes YouTube videos too, right?
mhm.
Are we talking about the same person?
Yeah.
She makes
She
YouTube.
sorry.
I think there was one time that she got on live and the the rareable pieces. She got upset about people talking crap about her pieces.
Yeah, she caught. I remember this. People were calling her like ethot or something.
Yeah, the thirst trap is the
Yeah.
word that people were calling. But
Well,
yeah, I think things like that, like if I feel like we're not gonna be able to. I feel like we're witnessing. That was just the tip of the iceberg. There's gonna be more bullies out there.
oh yeah. Oh, man, it's like.
sometimes you put your stuff public out there.
Oh yeah,
It's open for interpretation.
and it's like, and also I realized this because I got my first hater the other day. Anonymity really like makes people think they can say whatever they want, right? And
Yeah,
also,
it's that barrier that it's the internet,
right?
and they're far away.
And like yeah, I can't get to them, but the like people also don't understand like anonymity goes both ways. Like if I don't know you, I do not care, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I really think like people. Well, it's actually weird, right? Because it's like in the case of crypto, finally, like some of the hate that she's getting is extremely undeserved, right? Like she's like,
Yeah, and she's a woman in a
in
majority male,
exactly,
so that's another layer.
exactly. But then on the opposite side, you have digital art chick and Beanie, who just essentially do the opposite, right? Like, it's like, well, I don't know if they do the opposite. Like, that's implying crypto finally is like requesting it. Crypto finally isn't requesting anything, but it's like, like you look at like somebody like digital art chick, who's getting attacked, right?
Hmm?
But the space, but they're getting attacked for valid reasons, right? I don't know.
Not
Have you?
familiar. I wasn't familiar how she got attacked.
Oh well, attacking is like a big word to use. Like people were just calling digital art chick out for
Just
like,
trolling. Was it trolling?
well, trolling, and it's also like weird influencer. Like the only way to describe it is like weird influencer shit, where it's like because she has, I don't even know.
Oh, right.
Well, like that's the thing. Nobody even knows if digital art chick is actually a girl, right? Like that was a whole thing
Yeah.
that Beanie was shit
It's just
posting about.
bigger, stick, better argument.
Yeah, and it's like,
She got the bigger crowd with her.
sorry, you cut out
She
there.
got the bigger crowd with her. That's why she
Bigger,
won the argument.
yeah, and well, like her thing now is like, she was trying to get a pickle from somebody, and
Hmm?
when they couldn't, she got mad as hell. And then apparently another thing happened. She threatened to tweet it out, and then another thing happened where her role got taken away from the Discord, and then
Yeah.
uh, what is it? She essentially also said the same thing. She was like, "I'm gonna tweet it out," and then she got called out. But what I noticed is essentially like this space because of like how hard people can go at each other due to how anonymous it is, right?
Yeah.
We've sort of a little bit crippled the actual notion of critiquing good work and like
See why I just kind of just take time to offline and
just
kind of
huddle
not.
your work.
Yeah. Just huddle and just wait for a couple smart people to understand what I'm doing.
It's I'm starting to be exactly like that as well. Like I started realizing like there's no point in just putting everything
Like
out there.
keeping head down and just busting ass and working as hard as you can. Just putting your head down and working, working, working.
Exact, and it's like I'm a believer of the concept will. If the concept is good, then the work will just find its way out there.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
well, hopefully, I mean, like the concept for the banana and duct tape wasn't that good, but it found its way out there too.
Well, no one's talking about it now. People are more talking about NFTs now, but it's just a hype.
Yeah, it's well, like so as the hype dies off, right? I've noticed that certain aesthetics are developing in the
It
space.
it, it 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 does die off, but it comes back in another form. So there's gonna be. I feel like
Mhm.
after I've like I said, there's the it's an NFT bubble, and I feel like there's gonna be a hype cycle, and there's gonna be like a bear cycle. But whoever survives from that bear cycle gets to live another day.
Yeah, and they get to reap the rewards of the bull cycle
Yeah,
where when everybody like where well everybody else just watches. Like it's the truth. Like people, I've seen people come into space and start to complain after 3 months, after 6 months of not selling stuff, and they don't realize.
yeah. They're so impatient, and
Yeah,
they just exit. They just leave.
and it's like they expect. Like they see the big numbers that somebody like X Copy or like somebody like Trevor Jones is doing.
X copy has been here for so long. I
Exactly.
remember X copy.
Like
Yeah,
I entered the space when Xcopy was starting to like get mad recognition, right? And it's
Yeah.
like I remember when Aophoria first started out in the space, like I remember when he tweeted out his like his graduate he's like, "Yo guys, I just finished my college." And I was like, like like fuck, okay, yeah, right? And then the work just evolves. It's
Yeah. By the way,
but
the people that just graduated college and are just now figuring out this NFT shit and just
they're gonna
going ham, they're like the lucky herd.
Yo, that's me. That's me.
Yeah.
That's I was talking to a friend. I was like, I feel like a cult member
How do
talking
your
to you.
classmates how do your classmates feel about it? Like,
It's the people I've talked to are actually very down with it because like
yeah.
I give it to them the utility
Mhm.
idea. I don't give them the whole idea. Oh, buy and sell for crypto,
Yeah.
because like to me when I first entered the space, that was I was like, oh cool, buy and sell for crypto. But then the utility bug got me, and then like a few things happened early on in the space that I was just like, okay, fuck the money, I'm here for the technology. And
Yeah.
so when I bring it to people, I literally tell them I tell them about the tech first, and then my artist friends, I literally tell them about the royalties, and then
Oh,
I remind them how our university canceled our graduation show,
mhm.
has shitty silent auctions where the dean of the university will bid only 35 fucking Canadian dollars while wearing a 2000 US dollar suit. I
Jesus.
was there. Like that happened. Like we had a fundraiser for a student who passed away,
Oh,
and we set it out where it's like in the email. I wasn't in control of this, but like I had friends who ran the show, and they were like, guys, there is a minimum price, nothing below this, so we can guarantee something. And this
right.
girl put it essentially like $200 below the minimum price, and the dean of the program bought it.
Oh wow.
And you just stare there and be like, bro, your tie is worth more than what you just bought, right?
Sounds like some bully.
It's like it's just absolute. Like I'm not. Educational institutions are sort of a sham now, especially with
Oh yeah,
COVID.
it's downhill for
It's
education,
yeah,
especially
and
COVID took a leg out of
oh,
education.
COVID
COVID
crippled.
has messed up everything.
It
with
did.
them.
It really did. Like I know for a fact, like so many artists no longer get access to like their wood shops, their welding stations, um, painting studios. Like if you paint with oils, you need good ventilations, or you're gonna give yourself cancer in the next 5 to 10 years,
Yeah,
maybe 20 years. That's actually a fact, right?
yeah.
Like a lot of the materials artists use, like you have to clean your hands the right way, you have to do a lot of stuff, and then comes COVID and essentially shuts everybody out, right? Like we're having a nice conversation, right? But a conversation like this in person would be a little bit better, right? And that's
For
not
sure.
happening in universities anymore, right? I can't you can't show me the actual work, or you can't show the people listening the actual work physically, right? Hand it to them, and you
Sure.
can't
Yeah.
pass it around, which is like people like don't realize like that's an important factor of like the art, right? Like texture, materiality, all of that stuff needs to be
Yeah.
seen. And so I throw them that, and I tell them like don't worry about your paintings, because the materiality, if you fuck with materials, like that will translate through the image. And
Mhm.
then I have my own wild theories. Well, here, since you have like you blew my mind, so I'll try to like essentially like blow your mind up with some of my ideas.
Sure.
Um, my brain essentially started thinking of, if somebody was to 3D scan, like high quality 3D scan a painting down to like the molecular level, if the technology
Right.
allows it, right? You export the 3D scan, NFT it, right? And connect it to the physical. You have an indestructible version, near perfect indestructible version, and near perfect reproduction, almost equivalent to the real, right?
Sure.
And it's like my brain, I was like, oh, this could be used to
Yeah, that's
preserve
cool.
every painting out there. Like if you 3D scan the Mona Lisa to like the molecular level and then recreate it to the core molecularly again,
Yeah.
is it any different from the actual real? Like, I mean, and so like it goes with records, right? Like you 3D scan a vinyl with all the little indents and divots, and then your vinyl is broken, you just print a new one, and you have the perfect copy of the sound. Never, like, undestructible, will never go away, will outlive me and my children, you know? And so that's how I bring it to people, and they're like, oh, that's cool. How do I start? And then
That's the
it,
thing. How do I say? There's so many different ways to start.
yeah, it's like, and with like Tezos and like super rare foundation, rareable, open sea, Hiket Nunk, people don't know where to start either. It's actually
Yeah.
crazy.
You just
It's
kind of have to dive in, and it's like not a lot of fish, but it's a very big ocean.
oh,
There's
it's
right now, right now, you have a lot of room to swim.
that's oh, and so much room to build. Like the
Yeah.
utility is not even there. Like we're
But
like
starting from nothing is much of a task because there's gonna be almost like a third or fourth wave of NFT artists that are gonna look at the things that we've created and build on top of that. It gives them an extra shoulder to step on.
exactly, and it's like I like I also legitimately think that like what we think of as utility and like use case for stuff as NFTs and like how all of that's gonna work is barely scratched the surface. Like
For sure.
like m- I mean, like you can barely find code online to code your own dynamic NFT, right? People are going to async for that. So imagine like as that code becomes fully public to the mainstream, what people are going to be able to buy, or like, well, actually, here, let me get your ideas on this, and to the people listening,
Hmm?
have you been on Hiketnunk at all?
I've been on what?
Hiketnunk or Hen?
No.
So
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. Like
so
I've heard other NFTs art any other NFT artists.
are
I've seen
moving.
people use it.
Yeah, I've moved to it because it's on the Tezos blockchain and it's so much cheaper. Um,
But that's the thing. Is just to experiment with all these other blockchains, man. Because Ethereum it's a good for now, but it's
yeah,
not the end all be all.
and it's like the gas, like the gas will.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is
well, so I actually well I tagged you about this. I showed you my fish, my digital pet fish. No, I have, right?
who's- hello.
Oh, somebody was somebody talking?
Yeah. It's
Oh.
there's literally something.
Oh, I heard something.
Whoa, is this a romantic conversation happening?
Wait, what's happened? I
I think
can't.
there's a romantic conversation happening.
I think they were muted and then.
This is funny. Oh no.
Wait, are you hearing something?
Yes, it's somebody in the chat.
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, I'm here.
Wait, who's talking?
Your Sam Major, I think is his name. Sam Major,
Sam Major.
yeah, in
Uh,
the chat.
okay. Um, if it gets too annoying, you can just do the user mute. I was just worried. I thought something was happening that's getting broadcasted to my recording. I was like, wait, what? How are you hearing what? But um,
No, there's
so
somebody in the chat.
it's so funny. It's like a film. Hold on, wait.
Weekend. So
Oh,
I might do that tonight.
yeah.
um,
Is it good now? Oh, is
You
that
want it to
still
turn mine
happening?
off or no?
At Casablanca?
I guess you're just at the submitting stage.
I
That's not
think-
the same.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting paid.
yeah.
There's somebody in the chat in the voice channel
Oh, sorry, baby.
for Sam
Stressful.
Major. I'm hearing static noise. It's just static noise now.
I mean, I would like to think
See
we're
it?
not at the
I
point
know.
See
of
I'm
somebody?
live
starting
stream,
to
but
hear
who
it now.
knows?
That's actually weird. What is? Well, I'm gonna mute them. I don't think they know that they're broadcasting. They're. I hope they don't know if they're doing it on purpose. Why? I cry. um.
Are you hearing this shit again?
No, wait. I muted it because
So
I'm
I'll be back.
Oh my
recording.
god! Hold on. Let me mute this.
Well, that's good.
Okay, we're good.
I
I needed to mute that person.
wait. What happened? Well, did they say something bad? I don't know.
There's a person in the chat, in the voice channel, in the general voice channel called Your Sam Major.
And yeah, and they did, well, like I know they were playing the Casablanca thing, but
Yeah, I think that's. I needed to mute that in order to hear you.
okay,
I was hearing that person's. But yeah, we're good now.
all right. Well,
It's going crazy for a little bit.
and I was like, me too. I was like, wait, what the hell is going on? I'm so confused. And then Block Harry's like throwing gifs in the chat. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, um, well,
Yeah, we're good now.
yeah, it's so I shared a link to my pet fish in the chat. I talked to you about this, or I tweeted you about it, and
What channel? This channel? Okay.
the live stream questions.
Okay.
It's right above the voice, the general chat.
I see it.
And so, I was actually curious because like Hen, I got drawn to Hen because of its cheap gas fees, and then I realized stuff like this exists, right? And that Hen can take Unity and GBL files, and all these things and actually load them in as NFTs, right? And then I'll put another link in for the listeners. That video game, do you remember it by any chance? Like that weird video game that changes the walls?
Yes, I remember that one actually.
So it's like, how do you think? I don't know. Like, are you a gamer? I don't know if I should be asking you this.
I was really into gaming like during high school. I've phased out of gaming.
And
I'm looking at games closely, but I'm not really into diving into games like that as I used to.
like, so well, I'll try to tie this in with another. Actually, I'll tie it in. I have the perfect. This is the perfect segue into one of my favorite topics of vaporwave, because it's actually very vaporwavy. Like it's old school, like very PlayStation aesthetics, but um, as there's this weird aesthetic developing in the space, right? It's like I don't know, like you've probably noticed it. You're already fucking a little bit with it because of like the vaporwave themes in your work, right? Um,
Oh, okay.
but then well no not but then but as it develops you'll see that it's like a lot of like the hazy colors like very how would I pastel-y colors,
Like neon.
yeah, like neon
Yes.
pastel,
Neon. Yeah.
right, that mixed with old school like the I don't want to call it old school graphics but the old school like 90s 80s aesthetic, right?
Yes. So, yeah.
And then you have
The
fully paired,
you talking
sorry.
about Atari aesthetics or Super Nintendo, like 8-bit?
Man,
It's 8-bit.
my parents didn't allow me to have a TV until I was 10 years old, so I missed out on both, so I have no idea what the aesthetics of those look like. I just have the aesthetics of like PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1, okay.
Like that rough, like do you know John's work or John as he's spelled on Twitter?
Might have seen his work. I might have came across his work, but
He,
not for
he's the one that does like skull gifs. Like cool here I'll link his work real quick.
Okay.
Um his aesthetic is actually insane. Well, his Twitter's not showing up right now. What the hell? But
But that neon look goes with the cyberpunk aesthetic
it
for sure.
does, right? And then
I tried putting that in a physical format. That's why I mess with trans fluorescent light, fluorescent paintings,
it,
fluorescent paint.
I was actually going to bring that up, and it's like the fluorescence, right? And then your color choice, like your color choice specific of some fluorescence,
Hmm?
is very vaporwave, right? And we've talked about this, you and I, like in your own Discord, about just vaporwave as a as a thing that's evolving into a valid form of
Right.
artwork
It's
and art.
an art that's being respected, and it's not just a meme.
Yeah, and and it's like, and it's also art that's incredibly hypercritical of capitalist and internet culture in such a way that it's like
and
I
and
Mhm.
and recycling.
Yeah,
We're everyone's recycling in the physical format, but also recycling digitally.
exactly. And it's like I so my wildest idea is like, I think it's actually like it ties in a lot of the themes that are present within the physical art world together, right? So, if you're familiar with like Robin Niss's Trash Can, right? It's all about like the conceptuality of like, the picture, and
Yeah.
you're getting this movement that is taking that notions of like found art, finding pictures online. I'm just gonna cut it, you know, remix it or whatever you call it, and then like
Right.
edit it together, put it together, add a new aesthetic to it, right? Which is like, again, like found art is a thing in the fine art world. Like
Like
people,
ready made.
yeah,
It's like
ready
ready
made,
made. Like
exactly.
Marcel Duchamp. You know.
Oh, exact. Oh, it's like it's exactly like that, and it's like
Yeah.
I never expected it when I first entered the space that I would find like the way to legitimize vaporwave as a form
Yeah.
of art critique and art creation, right? But what cued me into it was actually, funny enough, your use of floppy disks. Out of all
Oh yeah.
things, I was like, hold up, is that a floppy disk? And so
Yes.
for the people who don't know, I'm gonna post a link in the questions chat, and also block. Do not worry, I will get to your questions at the end. Um, like this was the first piece I ever saw when I stumbled across your account, and I was like, no way, is that a fucking like? And it's like, man, like you're already fucking with the themes of nostalgia, right? Because vaporwave is already heavy, like it's
Yeah.
heavily handed on nostalgia, and 80s, and like, Macintosh.
This is something like the brochure is something that the general public would throw away easily. They'll find it in a basement, and somebody's old dad's basement, and they wouldn't see any real value in it. Wouldn't think about creating something out of it.
And it's like, and it just, man, like it's actually insane, like because the like how do I phrase this? I like your
It
works are
was
like
different later.
no, it's like
I know.
because like I grew up with the memories of floppy disks, right? Because it's like, again, to tie in the nostalgia, like for those listening, like I grew up bugging my mom to plug in a floppy disk to have the Tarzan and the Hercules games on our computer. Like that's my experience with that stuff, right?
Right.
But also, like, what's really interesting, and like just talking to you about this now, is like we like to think NFTs hold a lot of information, but they don't. They hold the
Mm.
code, and our photos and our stuff are held in a place, in somewhere that's connected to the code of the NFT, right?
Right.
In the same way, a floppy disk, it's like it's this big revolutionary thing, but it doesn't hold that much, right? Like, do you
Yeah.
see where I'm going?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Like, and so it's like, man, like it's actually insane because as that
There,
evolves.
there,
Mhm.
I'm branching out of Apple though. Like, there's gonna be a time that it's gonna be Facebook,
I actually look forward to
IBM.
that.
No, there's
Well,
Apple is just. I started with the USPS, the United States Postal Service.
why?
The boxes, the mailboxes.
Oh, okay. I see.
Like United States Postal Service gives out free boxes, and this was like at the really beginning.
Okay.
I would just paint over those USPS boxes. The thing about those boxes is they were still shippable. You could still ship those boxes.
And then, how did you move to Macintosh exactly?
Um, the thing about capitalism was just adding the capitalistic, you know, aura.
Mhm.
USPS before Apple, I was using US, and USPS is more of a it's more of a socialistic. They have a social, almost like a socialism work ethic going on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
As opposed
Yeah.
to just Apple being all corporate. Like you go to your average postal service in your neighborhood, and they're more community based.
I see.
There's really no, they're not trying to sell you anything as hard as Apple's trying to sell you something.
Oh, that's true. Apple. I mean, just judging by the Inspire, Apple like is trying to sell a whole lifestyle. Like everybody knows this. Apple is image.
Everybody's familiar with Apple, but not everybody around the world is familiar with USPS. So that
I
was
see.
kind of like a reason why I chose Apple.
Okay. I mean, and it's like, yeah, that's very true. And it's like it's the people, anybody who knows Apple would be able to understand what you're
Yeah,
commenting
to a
on.
certain degree,
And it's
relate
like,
to it even more.
well, I mean, well, I'm not gonna ask you to give any information about what you're working on, but like, how do you feel about like the recent evolution of like just like like you mentioned Facebook and stuff. Like, how do you feel as time evolves about these like websites?
People are, about Facebook, like people aren't going to leave Facebook unless they get upset about their data.
Mm.
People on Facebook don't care about what data they, give out to the platform. But there's going to be a time where Facebook is going to betray its users just by, data, how they manage their users' data.
I see.
That's going to make those people mad, and they're going to leave. And I feel it's just going to be really old people like grandmas and
And
parents
just
who just use Facebook.
yeah, no, my parents are still in the Facebook. They're still in
They
the
didn't
Facebook
get.
trap.
Remember when parents didn't use Facebook?
Oh yeah, the diary. That was beautiful times. Oh my god.
Yeah. Until I think you're about my age too. So it was like after everyone graduated, like after high school and everyone was off to college,
Yeah,
moving. That's when parents got on Facebook.
like heavy,
See,
like
just to sneak, just to spy on their kids.
oh yeah. No, it's
That was around the time parents got on Facebook. Yeah.
like my funny enough, I think my parents joined Facebook before me, but they never used it until like
Really?
they never had like so my dad's he's always been on the computer like he's a political science writer, and
Hmm?
so his first thing is when Facebook first launched, that was like his way to talk to his political friends online, and I was like, okay, cool.
Oh,
But
okay, that makes sense.
it launched, he signed up, he was like, yo, Tarek, check this new cool thing. Oh, I actually just name dropped myself too. God damn.
Is that how your dad? Is that how your dad talks to?
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
hey.
It's funny enough. My dad's weirdly. My dad does that, and then at the end he calls me. He'll add Donald Duck in Arabic
Ah,
because so Donald Duck in Arabic is
what
batut.
is it?
It's a batut. Uh,
Batut?
Yeah, and so he goes like, "Hey, batut," and I'm like, "Oh fuck, here we go, shit, the memories." But like he called me over, and I was like, "Okay, what is this?" And he's like, "Sign up, like make your account," and so I did, and then I realized as a kid I was like, "Oh, Facebook, like you add people." And so I just added anybody I could find. It didn't even fucking matter who it was. I was just like,
Wow.
as a kid, yeah, no, it's like I was after that friendship number more than anything at the beginning of Facebook. I was like, I want to have 1,000 friends, like not caring who they were at all. And then, It's actually wild to think that. It's like, oh fuck, like I used to be weird as a kid, but my parents were like, my parents clued in at the end of high school. They were like, okay, what the fuck is this kid doing? Like, what's happening with
Mhm.
technology? And then, f- thank, I'm very thankful though that they haven't fully made their way into Instagram.
Oh my God.
That,
I was gonna talk about Instagram after, as soon as you said after high school, I was like Instagram.
yeah, oh, that's where everybody went to. It's like that's where
That's
I
where
moved.
everybody shifted once they discovered their parents were on Facebook.
Yeah, it just Instagram, and it's like now that I don't care about what my parents like find out about me, because like like I'm an adult now, right, and
Yeah,
all
you're an
that.
adult now. You
I'm
could do.
just
You
on
have to make
Twitter,
your own decisions.
and like now it's just like Twitter has become my. I actually hate Instagram. Like I think Instagram is like it's done a lot of damage to like artists over the past few years than good.
Sure.
And funny enough, if you've noticed in the space, Instagram followers don't really translate into Twitter
No, they
followers.
don't. They don't talk amongst each other. Like the conversation is very low.
Yeah, like, and I actually
It's
realized this.
all visual.
It is. It's so visual and it's so like interaction heavy and like heavy to
Yeah.
where it's like I realize this like we're not having like the same discussions like me like if I just came across your work on Instagram and Instagram alone, I wouldn't have had the same discussions that I would have had with you on Twitter.
Right.
Just because of like how Twitter is built of like just think it out, tweet it, enter, done. This is cool.
And I think just branching out to multiple platforms is a good thing too. Just to have people understand different perspectives
It's true,
of
and
what you're doing.
that's very true. I also personally think that Twitter gets the news um, before anybody else. It's proven to do that a couple of times. Um,
Yeah, it's either Reddit or Twitter,
yeah, and it's
or
like
one of the two.
yeah, it's like it's actually well, it, it's weird. It's really weird. Actually, let me ask you about this too, because Nigeria just banned Facebook. No, no, Twitter.
But they banned Twitter.
Yeah,
That's another thing they banned.
yeah, and so and because your art like also talks about like capitalism and all of that, but with all of that already comes the notion of censorship and control, right, and mass control.
Mhm.
How how do you like how is one eight supposed to justify like some something like what Twitter does, right? Or like Twitter getting banned because like a little bit of context to people listening and to you like in Egypt in the 2011 we had the revolution, right? And
Yeah.
we used all social media to essentially that was our way of connecting with people until they shut down the internet and the phone lines, right? But before
Right.
that, it was all on Twitter, on Facebook events, and just Twitter, right?
Right.
And so Twitter is like this to me. Like I grew up with Twitter is like this very important part of like speech, like the freedom of identity on the internet, right? And all of that aspect because it's what allowed my country to go into a revolution and like try to stand up, right?
Yeah.
But then you fast forward a few years, right? And then Twitter, like, because like in 2011, Twitter didn't ban any politicians, no matter what they said, right? Like Twitter didn't touch politics whatsoever,
Oh yeah. Now
right?
you have people banning Trump and
Exactly, and it's like like because of my because of my own experience in Egypt, like I'm the type of person that just always goes to the extreme of if
right.
it's gonna go if it can be abused, it will be abused, right?
Yeah.
So it's like to me, it's like I told my friends like I understand like the hate for all these figures, but the fact that these corporations are banning government figures
Right.
is a step that's extremely weird,
It's
unprecedented,
corporate trying to be the new government now.
right? Exactly,
And
and then
corporate is more fluid with their political stance.
it's I
Like
don't. Mhm,
let's take Starbucks for an example.
mhm,
And we're in June, so June is still Gay Pride. It's
Mhm.
still a Pride month, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So you'd have you know the Pride logo in
Mhm.
America, but if it's the Pride logo, a Starbucks Pride logo in America, and if you go to somewhere like I don't know, Afghanistan,
Yeah. Oh,
Starbucks, no, you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see a Pride, Starbucks logo.
yeah, not even close.
So, so corporations can indeed be fluid with their politics.
It's
This includes Twitter. This includes Facebook.
I
You
think it includes all of them. Like my biggest thing is never go to corporations with your like or never trust a corporation with politics ever. You
know.
know, it's because it can always be
This
abused.
goes back to the open source thing. We have to push for more open source material
I,
so
I
things don't get censored.
I agree, and I really agree. It's like I really think also NFTs helps with the censorship of things because
Sure.
like um if you get a leak, if WikiLeaks gets a document, right, that's highly, for example, and this is just, I use WikiLeaks because my dad's into politics and he loved WikiLeaks. Like, he was
Yeah.
running around the house when the first leaks happened in like 2000, whatever. Like, he was like, oh shit. But, like, a leak like that, my biggest thinking is like, if you're worried about it, you just tokenize it, make a million copies, and just put it out there for free. And it's never going to get quashed or censored, ever.
Right.
It's out there. It's done. Unless somebody goes and buys all, if you make a million, all 1 million editions and burns them all, then it's there.
I think WikiLeaks used to accept Bitcoin. I'm
At
not
least
sure if they still do.
I I don't. I hope they do.
But yeah, they have. I think Julian Assange is still here now. He's in the U.S. somewhere. Locked up.
Wait, is he in the U.S.?
I think
I
they took him out, didn't they? They
well,
took him out. Took him out of the well,
Assange. I don't think he's
took him out of
extra.
I think they took him out of the little haven that he was in for a while.
Oh yeah. Oh, they took him out of Ecuador. He's in the UK.
But he's in the UK now.
Yeah, he's fighting
Okay.
extradition to the states.
Okay, so they haven't taken him. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
hopefully they don't.
So this just happened to John McAfee too. This is
Oh yeah,
funny.
it's.
Was John McAfee was in the same position.
I was literally about to actually bring McAfee up
Yeah.
because it's like uh, like people don't realize like the shit that's happening and like the censorship that's happening and all these moves, like it's wild. It's crazy. Like um what is it? And it also like it's dangerous for everybody, including artists, because if somebody like Assange, right? Like McAfee's dead, right? They got
Yeah.
him, right? It's like, okay, cool. If it doesn't matter if it's suicide or not, but
Right.
the man like was clearly a vocal voice against the establishment, right? Whatever
Right.
whatever that establishment that may be, that depends on the country he hated at the time, which is also hilarious, but
Yeah.
that's McAfee, right? But it's like Assange is like his case is a little bit different in the sense of there is nothing that he's done that is wrong at all, right? People can try to grab McAfee on his like drug shit,
Yeah.
on his like his gun shit, whatever, like that's fine. Like try it. Like people will tell you like McAfee's not a good person. That's I am in agreement. Like he's like personality wise, like he's done some shit that's not good, right? That you'd
Yeah.
look at it and be like, okay, like typically, like as a human being, like man, damn, bro,
For
why?
sure. Yeah.
But Assange, all he did is got a file and just put it up online,
Yeah, he just put some information out.
right? And it's like, it's weird to see that how like a site that has Assange's Twitter on, right? That has the WikiLeaks Twitter on, right? Like, and it's like I don't think anybody here needs to be told like how much like the U.S. hates Assange. Like they detest the man beyond belief. He broke their image of secrecy into like smithereens, right?
For sure.
And so it's like it's weird to see like Twitter be like, yeah, WikiLeaks is up. You know, we'll let you retweet your Assange shit. We'll let you do this. But our politics, nah, we're gonna block
Yeah.
that. Or it's like a country like, or like something happens to like in Nigeria, and then Twitter, who doesn't run out of Nigeria, decides to take it upon its own like shoulder, right? Like as if it's
Yeah.
Atlas, to be like, we're gonna punish you. You're the bad one, and you're like,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
like, I
That's why I
mean,
feel there needs to be a decentralized social media.
I agree.
And we haven't really fully um created it yet.
It's I
It's there, it's getting there, but it's not
I
there.
Funny enough, I went to bed yesterday thinking of what if somebody creates a public document forum where you connect your wallet to it and you
Mhm.
get access to the document and you just like post it and then just log off, and it's an anonymous document where people can comment and respond to it. And so that's like exactly sort of what you were saying.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I actually also thought of a social media where this is typical of my artwork, but
mm,
it's every profile is a QR code. And depending on your new posts, QR code changes.
that's actually
So let's say you scan someone's anonymous QR code
mm,
profile and you get to see all their stuff that they posted, you're not going to necessarily know who it was.
yeah. And it also adds an element to somebody like hiding or like playing with his viewers, right? Like how Robinus I don't like Robinus, like some on at least on Hiketnunk, he hasn't linked his actual collection. He just tells
Yeah.
people he's minted something and they just go hunting.
Hmm.
And then he leaves
Yeah,
it up for 24 hours, and it's like it's like the whole thrill of the hunt, but it's sort of that similar thing. It's like, oh, you know like the
yeah, for sure.
um so, well, like, we have a few questions, but I wanted to say like the last thing about social media, because I'm really curious what you think, because it's like we're essentially like both of us now have experienced a place that is benefiting massively from social media,
Mhm.
but now there's this threat of social media being taken away
For sure.
because it's
Yeah.
being misused, right? Because it's like my biggest thing is like, man, like Twitter can disagree with the Nigerian government and the Egyptian government as much as it wants, right? It can
Yeah.
even state that, like retweet it, say we disagree with that. But to go out and ban or limit official like government stuff, like let alone Nigerian government stuff, like what,
Yeah.
right? Like to me that marked like a big step in control that should
Right.
never happen, right? And
For me, because I live in the United States, it
mm,
was when they banned Trump.
well, I'm yeah, for you that's
Even though
right.
he's not the best guy in my book.
Mm, but
So
that should have never, like the precedent behind that is fucking huge. Like
president of the U.S. dude.
yeah, no, like yeah, it's like yeah, the precedent of the president of the U.S. getting banned. It's like actually, it's it's actually wild to say now. It's like what the like
Yeah. So I was like, there needs to be something like decentralization is a keyword that I like using.
yeah, I agree. It's
And the
like
choice, the option to be anonymous.
and yeah, I also agree. Funny enough, somebody was like, "Oh, dude, you're in." I met somebody 2 days ago for the first time. Like, he's a friend of a friend, and he's like, "Oh, you're knees deep into that shit, into crypto. Like, you're all about the anonymity." And I was
Mhm.
like, "No, I actually went to crypto because I can verify my creations
Yeah,
to
it's more
myself."
open source. I think it's just anonymity is just a word people use just because they don't know anything about it. It's anonymous. It's something that they don't know about.
Yeah, and it's
And
like,
as opposed to saying, because it's really open source technology.
mm,
It's something that you could get online and read. But these people just don't know how to read it. So
it, and it's like, And even then, like people also fail to realize like anonymity is a tool that can be like used and unused, right? Like anonymous is famous for being anonymous, but you know they're anonymous, right? Like their image is tied to their name, right? To their identity, you know.
Yeah.
It's the same way where it's like why we use like why punk owners have punks in their images, right? Where it's like to me, like the way I think about it is like I'm anonymous in the space, not to the few people that heard my actual name because I name dropped myself like a dumbass. But yeah, that's one thing. It's like I realize like when you have like your actual self and then a persona online, like you have to be careful because then you'll just like give yourself out like that. And I was like, damn.
I try to be. My approach is to be just pseudonymous.
Yeah,
Like I'm okay with giving some stuff out, not just everything. You don't want to give all stuff out, you know. So being as long as you're as pseudonymous as Bitcoin, you'll be okay.
that's my plan. So it's like I have my Anubis 3100. I was thinking of like how weird it is that I'm anonymous, but I'm also not anonymous as Anubis 3100. Like,
Yeah,
right? And it's like you're anonymous, but
it's like
also
Satoshi Nakamoto.
exactly, and it's like it's actually really interesting that all of us have sort of like, like that have established that for ourselves personally, right? It's almost
Yeah.
akin to.
Because
Mm,
I have a theory to this. Because there's this transhumanist philosopher that I did research on like 3 months ago. He was like, I think people are gonna change their, because our normal names, our parents named us that, you know, and
mm,
we didn't have a say in what our names were gonna be. They picked that name for us.
mm.
But to go to this other world, you know, where not a lot of not your parents don't know much about the world that you're in, this NFT world, right?
Mm. Oh, they know nothing.
So it's almost like you have to create your own image, like recreate your own image again, because the Anubis that your parents know is not the same Anubis that
Yeah.
the crypto world knows.
Oh,
So that's
that's.
why we need that kind of balance, really.
I could not agree more. And it's like you said it perfectly actually. That's
Because privacy, it's still a thing, you know. Privacy it should still be valued.
oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, I think funny enough, the after McAfee died, I've become, or no, after McAfee got whacked,
Yeah.
I I I've become far more aware of my security.
For
Cause
sure, me
like
too.
like like the man is wild, right? Like the man, like he's
And
some
not only that, but he liked life too.
he
Just the way
yeah
that he
exactly,
liked living.
and it's like
He wasn't like emo suicidal guy, you know,
no, oh absolutely, like men,
like the Anthony Bourdain type. He wasn't that guy. He
no,
liked might have had, you know, drug issues, but he still liked life, you know.
yeah exactly, and it's just like I think he's also had the life experience to like not make him like man like again like I just too much bullshit is happening in the world for me to believe that he got whacked. Um,
Yeah, McAfee's death did change my
so
perspective
yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
and it's like to me the thing that changed my perspective to it as from like well to explain a little bit um, about like so I chose my name right because I like political works and I want to in Egypt you don't want to put out your real name because the cops will try to come and get you or
Yeah.
come get your family right but
Freedom of speech is a
oh
sticky
yeah
stuff.
yeah but like hearing McAfee talk like so like I get the news that he died, right? And then I go on YouTube and I'm like, okay, John McAfee interviews, and I start to watch a bunch of them, right?
Right.
And like the way this man is talking is just like how wait how do you say it? Hold on, I gotta put it into words because it's like
Right.
Mac, like, hold on, give me a second here. Like Mac, it's like I can't put it into words. It's fuck. Hold on. It's like it's actually like it's so weird because it's like his like man, it's just weird. Honestly, it's like yeah no I like Mac. Actually. Here, I'll tie it into something else. I can actually phrase this. I can phrase it that way because I have the example in my head,
Right.
like in concrete. The thing that fucked with me about McAfee the most and his death is how open it is, right? But
Yeah, it was out in the open.
but the thing that's not what cued me in, right? What cued me in, and to tie that to like what I brought about Egypt's like you say, like freedom of speech is a touchy subject in Egypt,
Yeah.
and freedom of speech is a touchy subject in the Middle East in general.
Yes.
I do you remember the Khashoggi killings, or the Khashoggi killing?
Shogi killing, no.
So essentially, 2 years ago, a Muslim writer, a Saudi Muslim writer who is
Oh, wait. Yes. Now I remember this guy.
right, and it's like to me that was the first
Disappeared,
time.
right? The guy
Oh,
who disappeared, right?
man, they chopped him up in the embassy. He didn't
Yeah.
disappear. They cut him up. Like they actually, apparently, if the news is right, they legitimately dismembered him in the Saudi
Wow.
embassy. And
It's
then
crazy.
like it's, and I remember when that happened, I talked to my dad, right, and I was like, "Yo, dude, like what the fuck? How?" My first message to him, I was like, "This is clearly we weren't supposed to find out about Khashoggi dying, right? Like, because they had gone through the process of hiding it so well, a little
Right.
bit, right? That the only thing that brought attention to it is his wife staying outside the embassy for 5 hours, and then finally saying, my husband got kicked out of Saudi for saying shit against for critiquing Islamic laws. I am worried about his safety. I haven't seen him come out." And then that's when the news comes out, right? And
Yeah.
and then my dad goes, "Yeah, somebody," and he literally just like nonchalantly drops, like, "Yeah, somebody let it out. Like, somebody let the news go out that they weren't supposed to." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what? Like, who?" Right? Like, I asked him, like, like the dumbass, like as if he knows, as if my dad knows, right? Like, I was
Yeah.
just like little dumb me, like, "Hey, okay, who, dad?" And he's like, "I don't even know. Like, nobody knows. Like the king of Saudi Arabia got thrown under the bus."
Crazy.
Like, right? It's actually wild. Like the king of Saudi Arabia got thrown under the bus, and then after that, that's 2 years ago, and then Assange starts getting detained and all that stuff. Epstein gets found out, jailed, and then murdered, right? Because if anybody believes Epstein killed himself, like, okay, I have no idea how they can disconnect themselves from reality, when it comes to
Yeah.
that. And then McAfee, like, that's like four people in the past, like four.
They showed the cell. There's a photo out of McAfee's cell, and it's kind of impossible to hang yourself.
McAfee's.
Do anything.
Well,
It was just gonna be a tough task for him to kill himself.
no, absolutely. Like I legitimately like. They managed to do it, and it's like people online.
And it was off the United States. It's not in the United States, so
Yeah,
it doesn't count as the United States execution, but it really
exactly.
is.
Oh, exactly. And it's like, and it also wouldn't be the first time the United States does stuff outside its land to get away with breaking its own rules. They do that shit all the
I think
time.
that's why Elon's trying to go to Mars, because I feel like they're trying to make him next.
I
maybe.
Legitimately, I'm starting to think Elon Musk is, like, from an artistic point of view, like as an artist, I look at Elon Musk and I see the like traditional caricature image of like the emperor, like the all powerful emperor, or the guy that's trying to get there, right? But he's just
Yeah.
fucking fat because like it's like, I mean, like, people will throw, like, like the whole use of mines and diamond mines in South Africa and Africa in general as like as a way
Right.
to like throw Musk under the bus.
Sure.
But like fuck throwing
But
Musk.
throw Apple under the bus
Well,
if you're
yeah,
gonna throw
exactly.
if you're gonna throw
Musk.
Macintosh,
Yeah.
if you're gonna throw Musk out of the
But also, like, if don't go to Musk, like, fuck that. Just like, I think people need to be aware of like what form of control having that form of mine, right? Or like, sorry, that form of trade run in your family give you in the overall world, right? Like, man, like, the guy, like, if your family runs and owns diamond or emerald mines in the best place to get emerald mines, like, you are powerful, no matter what. It doesn't matter. It's like everybody wants your stuff anyways, and it's like he's openly tweeted out about I don't know if you've seen it, but he's literally tweeted out about like trying to install coups in countries that refuse to deal with Tesla. And
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, yeah, oh yeah. It's like that's an actual tweet. He joked about it. He's like, yeah, we'll just create a coup, and you're like,
Oh God.
like, I'm also a believer. It's like some jokes, like jokes from specific people, like
Jokes have a little bit of truth to them.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like the bigger you get, the more your jokes have more hidden meanings than, like, me personally. Like, that's how I think about it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like hearing how he evolves, like, he legitimately starting to scare me, because like he's already shown too much control over the crypto space, right? One tweet from him dumped and pumped Doge like nothing I've fucking seen
Yeah.
in my life. Did the same to Bitcoin, right? Do we like? And it's
I
like,
feel like that's temporary though.
yeah.
He's not like were you here when the CEO of Chase was talking shit about Bitcoin and it tanked like half the market? Tanked the market in half?
So I entered I entered crypto fully in October of last year or September of last year. Is that before
Okay,
or
so there was
after?
a time in like I think it was like late 2016 or early or
Okay.
mid 2017 where Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase, JP Morgan, said Bitcoin was a scam, a fraud, and like Bitcoin got chopped in half basically.
I
Really bloody day.
I actually, so I didn't know it was because of the news, but I remember the day that happened because I remember articles about people throwing their mortgages into Bitcoin getting fucked. Like, that's one of the reasons why, like, I don't invest that much, is because I literally remember the stories from
Yeah,
2017
you
of,
never go all in.
oh
This
my
is
god,
something that's
it's like
very new.
like I understand. I also like understand people going sort of all in if they have nothing and they're trying to build from nothing, because then you can take the mini hits that come along as you
Yeah.
accumulate more, right? But if you got all this stuff and then you just sell it all to enter the space, right? And then a tweet like Musk's tanks the shit by 40%. Fuck, like, and it happened. It already happened. Like, people already were starting to get mad at Elon Musk
Right.
for Doge going down, and I was like,
That it was nothing but influential power. It was
oh,
nothing
absolutely.
but it had nothing to do with the technology, nothing to do with the
Oh, and
how Bitcoin or how anything works.
it was just
I just looked at that as an opportunity to just make more coins, man.
yeah.
Just
Oh, absolutely. It's like, it was just sad to see so many people like fall for it. Like, because it's like he tweeted out on the same day of Tesla not taking any Bitcoin for environmental reasons that he's working with Dogecoin developers on improving their transaction speed, and it's like extreme tonal whiplash in like 2 hours, and you're like, Musk, what the? And everybody's like, yeah, Dogecoin for the win, and then now Doge
Yeah.
is at 20
Oh
cents
my God.
again.
Bitcoin is back to a joke now. I
Yeah.
like it.
I honestly like. I got excited when Musk first joined. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
everybody did. You know,
and
he
then
pumped the market.
he did,
He took
but
it right
like,
back.
but it scared me too. Like the moment, because I remember like Doge jumped by 800%,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, cool. This is enough money for me to like mint some stuff as NFTs. And I was in the Discord for Moon Overlord, and he goes, "This has never happened before." And I was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" He's
Oh.
like, "No, an 800% increase in an hour has never happened before, like the way Doge shot up." And I was like, "Oh, shit!" And I sold all my Doge. That was the
Yeah.
moment I got out after that I was like, okay, no, Musk is fucking with this so much that it's gonna fucking burn everybody.
Yeah.
Um. All right.
It's all about responding quickly, man. Quick
Yeah,
response.
it is.
So that's what QR codes. That's what a QR code. The initials, the QR is called quick response.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Quick response. That's
Yeah.
wow.
Quick
All right.
response.
So funny enough, we've been talking for 2 hours.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I could talk all day to be honest,
Oh,
but I feel
me,
like
me
we
too.
have this here, yeah.
Oh, I can sit and talk NFTs all day. I legitimately can. And, like my girlfriend looks at me like I'm crazy sometimes because that's all I do at times. She's like, "Yo, Tarek, like stop thinking." I was like,
I just shut up and keep things to myself. You can't imagine.
Yeah.
My friends, I'm like, I don't say. They know that I know a couple things about the crypto space, but they don't know that I know that as
Yeah.
much as I know that I know.
And it's like, man, from you're talking like you're an OG, and a lot of people also don't know that. A lot of people don't know that at all. They don't.
As long as I stay in the dirt, I get to see all the new things that come out. You know,
Yeah.
because if you blow up, you don't get to experience the new things that come out.
Yeah.
You're
That's
so into you're so into what you're doing, that you don't see the things that are coming up. You know,
yeah. That's
things that are behind you.
it's it's very true. And you get sometimes you'll get locked into just what you're doing. Well,
Yeah.
here actually, so we'll end this with Block Harry or Howery. I can't pronounce his name. He's had a few questions that he posted in the chat.
Okay.
Um, and they're talking about the utility because we were talking. Some of these were sent when we were talking about the fingerprints and the QR code
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the use of utility. Um, and so his first question is, do you think that in a feasible future, art will represent almost any asset, or it will keep as a way of expression, but with no extra utility?
Hmm.
Hmm.
I feel like, well, it depends what you want it to be. What the use is, right? To
It's
the apple, the beholder, or however the saying goes.
yeah, eye of the power in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
It's
And well, when it personally comes to my work, I feel like it does have a utility.
mhm.
It just depends on what you want to use it for.
Well, like I also think that when I say I said this earlier, like utility hasn't been scratched, like the surface has been scratched, but
Yeah.
work as NFTs is already utilized enough, right? Because often like we have digital photos that we have no way of displaying unless we just look through them on our phone, and then
Right.
NFT as the technology evolves, right? You get screens, like just like mount a screen on your wall and you're good,
Hmm.
display it, right? And so and it's also I really think that it's like when it comes to like art in general in assets, my dad is the one that told me this, but art makes its way into everything, regardless of if it's taking the foreground or if it's in the background, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Um,
you could find art in math,
exactly, 100%,
geometry,
exactly, right?
geometry,
And so like every asset has an art factor to it.
yes,
If you look at it through that, so
design. Some
exactly.
people call it design.
Yeah. And then and Pac says design is a hack, which I'm still trying to figure that out. That's actually one of the things that Pac has figured. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I remember that saying. I remember having that saying stick to my head, but I don't know why.
it's like I think because it's like because it's true. It's like yeah.
It sounds like the English sounds broken, but it makes sense in a way.
Yeah, it's like you read it, you're like, yeah, no, that does, yeah, yeah. um, so he has a second question. Um, NFT art is a counter movement against. Well, now serious. I'll read the whole thing. Now serious question. Another question. NFT art is a counter movement against industry or isn't? Or it's more a new movement with its own codes as the mediums have changed, as with sculpture, photo, canvas. What do you think?
When it comes to NFT art, is a counter movement against the industry. I feel like NFTs, it's broader than art. Like that's a hard thing to say. Like it's broader. It goes to many more industries, just other than art. Like you know, maybe GM or BMW might want an NFT
Exactly.
for some contract. They
Yeah,
might not think of it as an artistic thing,
and like
but I
people.
feel like NFTs or the concept of an NFT is going to change all industries.
I agree.
Um,
I think I was.
as a counter movement against industry, I do agree with that. I do agree it's a counter movement towards what every industry is doing now.
Mm,
Um, but eventually, the industry that we're in right now, we're talking about, is going to be more widespread.
I agree, and I think it's also like important for somebody for people to pay attention to the art world and its history and its cycles
Right.
because I truly believe like NFTs are like the evolution of ownership and everything into the digital space. It only makes sense that we spent like 20 years using this internet stuff without owning any of it. Now is about time to start owning some of it, right?
Sure. People are gonna take digital art very, very seriously now
Yeah,
because the copy and paste,
the like
rebuttal
save.
like that people talk about, doesn't make sense now.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's still a valid argument to some people, but they're really not getting it.
Yeah, and it's like it's actually also hilarious to see like how weird like people try to justify like well no not how weird like it's weird to see like how the notions of ownership break down in the digital space
Yeah.
because just because it's
Is,
accessible to everybody.
is it really yours?
Yeah, and it's just
It's
like
like it's like owning a Bitcoin. Is the Bitcoin really your Bitcoin? No.
well, Musk wants my bitcoins, sir.
You either only have it for a while because you're
Yeah,
gonna spend it,
exactly.
and
It's just like it moves hands, and it's like I think like NFT art and crypto art is a counter movement. Um, I agree with you on that 100%. I think it's the evolution of the art world in general. Like it's the next evolution. It's the next, art movement. That's just because like every other art movement when it comes out, it's considered
it's it's having these galleries become these closed museums, and you know how Christie's was closed. They're
Mm.
not so closed now. They're taking in open source artwork
Oh,
now.
they
They're
have
they
to.
like open.
Funny
Yeah,
enough, I really think Christie's is not gonna survive or Sotheby's. I don't think they're gonna survive at all. Like like
Yeah,
the biggest question I keep asking myself about this stuff is like, why would I go to Sotheby's when I can literally buy the same work on OpenSea? And
they are
all
yeah, museums are like the banking world of
exactly.
the art world.
And
Oh,
I like and um like as a counterculture, right? So I realized this in my postmodernist art history classes, which were boring as hell. Um, but I noticed this and at least during as like postmodernist art in art started to evolve, a lot of people wanted to change the art industry, right?
mhm.
But they were coming at it too heavy-handedly, right? To where I essentially would read what their critiques of it and would be like, okay, like this is cool, but you want to destroy everything that's been built instead of, like padding it or like just like if building on it, right?
Yeah,
And then comes this NFT movement that is essentially just that. Instead of complete destruction, it's just evolution from the inside, right? Because it's like artists, yeah, we're attacking each other and like people are shitting on NFTs and like, yeah, you're killing the environment, but like that's it everywhere. But in the sense of the people that are striving for change, right? The same people that strove for change during modernism, postmodernism, like
right.
impressionism, are the same people that are striving for change here, right? But now we're fully able to do this change without disrupting or destroying the structures built before, right? And I
Correct.
and I and
Yeah,
I think we like while like the movements before were like fuck all these structures, destroy them all.
yeah.
I think like I look at it and NFTs is like one of those things where it's like, oh, we can critique the structures, we can break them down, we can analyze them, and we'll just build upon it from the inside out instead of going scorched earth on the whole thing, you know?
See, that's what Satoshi Nakamoto did before. Like, didn't plan on destroying banks. He said he essentially tried to give another alternative.
Mm.
Wasn't meant to, completely take over the banking world.
It's
That's
just
why I feel like before Satoshi was a coder, he was a philosopher. He
I
thought about this thing philosophically before he sat down to code, or she, or they.
I think so too. I really think so too because it's like you need to legitimately sit down and think. Like you've had to sit down and thought about like just not math, but like how fiat is going, how the currency
Yeah,
is
what
being used in the world.
the world before you, the world you were trying to build on top of.
Yeah, and it's like it's actually, yeah, man, man, Red, you need to do more podcasts, man. You actually do. Fuck, you're dropping like
No.
gold, man. Actually, all right, we have a last question. I believe that is the last question. Yes. What is the opinion of the NFT versus non-NFT artist from each other? And what is the mood from the people that? So I think we already talked about this. Well, you already asked me about this about
See,
how.
I feel like it's just gonna be like an echo chamber. Whatever the crypto market is doing to normal people in the general world, it's almost like you could base the playbook,
Yeah,
and it's almost like a echo chamber.
I agree with that. It's like it's gonna be an echo chamber until it gets big enough that everybody's like the outside voices are now accepted and um, validated and legitimized.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just time.
yeah, that's what I
It's
tell people too. It's
waiting,
like it's just
and
time.
within that time, you keep your head down and just keep working
E-
till.
Exactly. It's like, and yeah, that's. I would also say that it's just like NFT artist or non NFT artist in the art space in general. Time and patience is like the
Yeah, and
biggest thing.
influence is a powerful thing now.
Oh yeah,
They see their friends doing it, they want to do it too.
exactly,
You know,
exactly. And it's like,
good or ill.
yeah, that also has to be said for the good or the bad. Yeah, it's like, and it just man, like I legitimately like look forward to like how this space evolves because it's like I think like all these like NFT versus non NFT are just like all petty stuff. The moment
Yeah,
everybody
but you
realizes,
feel like almost like an awakening, like a new, like uh almost like a new philosophical thing happening. Not just
exactly.
the money. It's not just the money,
Oh
man.
no, it's not
Money comes and goes. It's
exactly.
just what's in how you change as a person.
Yeah, and it's like, it's that. It's also like giving like some the autonomy of a like it's like a lot of us like to go to galleries and museums, but it's like now you can run your own galleries. You like that sense of
Yeah,
ownership.
it's in you can take it with you. You can show your friends now.
Exactly, and it's
You don't have
just
to walk all the way to somewhere to see it because they might want a fee from you to even look at it, or
exactly.
you know you have to if they're closed on Sunday or something. There's always something in the way.
Yeah, and it's just like yeah,
Well,
I
that's not an excuse to abandon the physical aspect of things, and I think that's where some NFT artists need to recognize that.
yeah,
You know,
like I funny enough this is well we'll end it we'll end it after that, but I had I submitted a pic like somebody was streaming and they were like submit your work, we'll go through it, and I submitted a study of Bikinski, Zdzislaw Bikinski that I made, and they opened it on stream, right? And these are
right.
artists, right? They're drawers. Like one of them is a drawer, and
Mhm.
I got the same excuses that a not an NFT person would give me, and I was like, what? What do you like? The first like one of the excuses I got is like I don't like the fiber of the paper, and I was like, well then like I responded I was like that's not the fiber, that's literally toned gray marking on the paper, like
Yeah,
right? It's like if you're not gonna like so many people don't even know the materials out there that
that's the thing. It's
like
you
it's
as an artist personally, you have to fight. It's literally a fight to have other people take your work seriously.
yeah it
You
is.
it's again. We could go back to the banana and the duct tape. Even
It's
though that guy was a troll, let's say he wanted to, I want this work to be taken seriously. You're gonna have to fight for it.
yeah it 100%, and
Like,
like and I'm a big believer that if you're fighting for it and your work is good, it will have its time, hopefully. Hopefully.
yeah, that's the real world too. You're still the sperm trying to reach the egg and be born, but you're only doing it in human form now.
Yeah.
Still trying to reach for the egg, become something else.
Human form. Well, on that note,
That's
I
how to
will.
end it, right?
Yeah, I'm just. um, I'll just say goodbye to listeners and to those who are watching this on YouTube because this gets uploaded on YouTube every Thursdays. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, links. I will put your links in below in the description of this. Um, I actually don't have any links. I only have your collection links, but I don't know if you have a website or a link tree.
I could link my Discord because Discord's literally the only Discord
Okay.
or Twitter. My Twitter.
Yeah, I'll link them both, and then
Okay, cool.
so to those
Yeah.
listening in the YouTube video, the
Link,
links
link a
are below.
permanent link a permanent Discord link because
Okay,
Discord is funny with
the expiration dates and all like the
bleeding.
expiration
Yeah,
links.
it gets annoying sometimes.
We'll yeah, we'll do that. All right.
Man.
Um, here, I'll just end the
Yeah.
recording. We can still like talk after quickly. I just gotta get the the Joe Rogan. Bye everybody.
All right. Yeah. Bye. All
Bye
right. Let's talk
everybody.
about the real shit now.